Rupper, we've had this conversation on this show several times. You're a guy who was not shy to drop in the gloves, being physical. Do you believe that intimidation still works in today's game? Much has been made about Ryan Reaves signing here, him being on that fourth line. There's not a lot of willing combatants for him night in and night out. Obviously, with Luch out tonight, he might not have a dance partner. But do you still believe in having a guy who can drop the gloves or be an intimidating force?
I mean, I think there's too many people in the hockey world now that take adding physicality like a Ryan Reaves or a player of that ilk, and they just say no one's afraid. It's not a deterrent. I mean, I got that all the time when people are like, Sidney Crosby got a concussion in the Winter Classic back in 2011, and on that team, I was on that team. Eric Goddard was on that team. Like, we had a tough Derek England. Like, we had a tough team, and they're like, I think they take it too serious. Like, these guys are still going to get hurt and get runs. Yeah, like this isn't the 70s. You know what I mean? Like, it's not. I think the onus is put too much on. Is it a deterrent? Are guys not going to run at the team? They're still going to have that stuff. I look at it more now in today's modern game, not what having a Ryan Reaves does to the opponent, but what it does to your team. And what I've seen everywhere Ryan Reaves goes, there's a swagger. I want my team to have a swagger. And I want my team to feel like, I think just to use this as my example, my first NHL game, I did not fight very much when I came into the league. My first NHL game, I was centering in New Jersey back in 2003. I was centering Turner Stevenson on my right and Jim McKenzie on my left. Those guys came up to me before the game started, and yes, it was a different time than now. They said, hey, kid, do whatever you want to do out here. We got you. And I went out that night, I scored 2 goals in that game, in my first NHL game. I think it was because these guys were like, we got you. And I know I had to play big, I had to play physical, I had to do these types of things. So my point being, when you have Ryan Reaves or you have players that are the lightning rod players in certain moments of a season, I care more what it does for my team. I want those guys to have a little bit more of an edge. I want my team to be more confident in the physicality aspects of the game. Ryan Reaves walks around with no shirt on all the time. Look what he did in Minnesota. All those guys started doing interviews with no shirt on. You might think that sounds dumb, but that's like a galvanizing thing with the team. It's their thing. Guys going out after going to the media, talk to the media after a big win, and they're like, take the shirt off. The tarp's coming off. Come on. And you know what I mean? Like the camaraderie and that stuff, I think it's real. Right? What does that mean down the stretch in the playoffs? Is Ryan Reaves going to be in the lineup? That depends how the fourth line's doing, right? But in the meantime, let's get the attitude. Let's play with an attitude. That's something I think that's lacked in Toronto. I still think there is a place for it.
Well, and he's well aware of it too, right, Mike? I mean, the guy, they gave him a 3-year deal. Clearly the Leafs valued it greatly, and I'm sure the reason they gave him 3 years is because other teams were willing to give him 2. We had Bill Guerin on a couple of weeks ago, and Bill was like, we needed the guy. Like, we went and traded for him. We needed him, and we miss him. Like, we already miss him. And he's been in Vegas. He's been in Pittsburgh. He's jumped around the league, and he's not there to score goals. He's not there to supply offense. Like, we know who he is and what he is. But he's probably the poster boy now in this city. And you're familiar with how big it is, how much of a hockey market it is. But it'll be new school versus old school all year. Like, that'll be it, and Reaves will be the guy that everyone's going to talk about. And you've been in the room. Noodles, you've been in the room. Oh, you've been in the room. You guys can all attest to what Mike just said. Yet, unless they win, I think unfairly to Reaves, people are going to be like, well, it's because they made that decision, which is ludicrous. The guy plays like 7 minutes a night.
No, but to go off that even, you guys probably know the exact situation better than me, exactly who the team was they were playing. I don't remember that detail, but there was early on in the season here. I saw a clip, and it was Bertuzzi took the puck to the net, and he took an extra dig, kind of speared the goalie a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it started a little bit of against Montreal. Thank you. And it started a little bit of a melee. And I'll tell you what, Big 34 got in there at the drop of a hat, and we haven't always seen that. And I don't want him doing that. But when he does do that, like, I get goosebumps talking about it now. When I saw superstars just be willing to get in there, I don't ever want to see him drop the gloves ever. I don't want Connor McDavid ever dropping the gloves. But when Alex Pietrangelo, two-hand chopped Leon Draisaitl, who's the first one to get in there? Connor came flying in. And that's the stuff, like, we need to find another level through the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's what the another level is. Another level is not scoring more goals. We know these guys who can score goals. I mean, it might be one of the most talented teams in the league as far as offensively. But, you know, the margin for error, margin between winning and losing is so thin. Like, let's get some of that other stuff. And not just Reaves. Like a Bertuzzi, a Domi, an attitude, a swagger. Going to stir it up once in a while. Create some emotion. I mean, an 82-game season, man, you got to manufacture emotion sometimes. And when you have a guy that's going to go out there and just kind of stir it up and play, or at the end of the game, when you're going to do your interview, saying, take your shirt off because that's what we do, like, that's going to create a buzz. It's going to create energy. I think that stuff helps change cultures, and that's the only thing I feel like lacking in Toronto. It's getting that next level, and the next level teams that win cups, they have those things.